into explaining most shamanic forms, right? So she explained about how us shamans are the doorway between the different worlds. Hold that space. It's like, opening up the door, then closing the door. There's different ways that shamans do this, right? I've been to Peru and the jungle and did it with ayahuasca. It was terrifying. Very cool experience, very terrifying. I went with another shaman and did like a mushroom ceremony, opened up those outer space realms. What I love about this shamanic modality is that it feels really safe.
That's true. I mean, I'm from the 60s, right? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
So
right?
cool. I can't believe I missed that.
I know.
Maybe I lived there and reincarnated. I don't know.
But exactly, this particular, and I've done other kinds of things with mantras and so on and so on, but what is true about this way of doing it with the postures is that it's a 2-hour commitment.
I love that.
And you come in, you do the thing, you're in a totally different world, you turn into something, or you experience something,
Right,
or you hear the spirit giving you advice about something, or sometimes people have experiences that would in reality take years. And just it's just the way I do it is like 2 intense 15-minute sessions, and then discussion, and then at the end you eat, you drink, talk, and you're back into ordinary reality, and you leave with a vision or with a thought or with with something, depending upon who you are and what you are coming for. It's a different something. Mm-hmm. And but you're in your ordinary reality. So unlike drugs, and it's not illegal.
It's not illegal yet. No, cancel it.
And it's not like acid. I did acid in my youth.
Oof,
it's like a 24-hour thing. Sometimes it could be days. I mean, it lasts a long time, and the trip. I mean, these are legitimate doorways.
Yeah.
But this is a safer way, exactly as you say. It's a safer way to go in and out in that way, and it's more predictable. The ones that I do, I mean, my mother was interested in finding all of the postures she could that were like this and that were recorded in the art, and she found some that contemporary people would never want to do.
Interesting, like the dragon you were telling me.
Like actually that isn't one that she found.
Oh.
But like for example, there's one that if you take this posture, you die.
Spiritually, or?
Yeah, no, you experience death.
Death.
And then when
Sounds
it's
like
over with,
ayahuasca.
you come out of it and you're fine. I mean, I think that's not one that people would want to do that often.
No.
I don't think so. Whereas others, like the hawk we're going to do, or like the bear, we did just this last weekend, which is
Here, I'll grab that.
That's
That's one of my favorites.
This is the bear.
Yeah, that's the bear.
And in this one, it's a healing posture. It's 6,000 years old, as far as we know, in terms of the art that goes back that way. The art showing the posture, we've seen it from lots of different cultures have this posture. In the Native American world, for example, the Ojibwe know this posture, or at least have art that shows this posture. The bear is medicine bear in the Native American tradition, and you call the bear for healing.
It's my favorite. It's so gentle. It's such a gentle trance.
That's interesting that it would be gentle for you because some people experience that trance. For example, one time I did the trance, the bear trance. I'm rattling, and while I rattle, I normally I'm seeing things from other people's trances, and I'm, you know, the rattle is sensitive to that, and this time I'm rattling, and then I'm noticing that it was a mother bear, and she was wandering around, and she was licking her cubs, and she was so gentle, and I thought, wow, here's this big, I mean, bears are big, you know, here's this, at least some of them can be really big, this is a really big bear, you know, and I notice how gentle she is, and then she turns towards me, and I think, oh, how sweet, you know, and she comes up really close, and wow, here's this big bear head, and oh, and she opens her mouth, I think, oh, she's gonna lick me, and then she turns, and she bites my head off, and I'm rattling, and I have no head.
Oh my goodness!
And I had just retired. I was a philosophy professor, and I had just retired, and my issue was like the healing that I needed was as a professor, I had a face. You know, I had a responsibilities. I had a role. You know, you know, I had status. But as an old lady, you know, old ladies tend to be throwaway. You know, tend to be ignored, tend to be, you know, okay, here's a granny, there, granny, you know what I mean? So I feel like I had gone from being this butterfly to this, you know, this worm, you know, and I was really kind of depressed about that. And so, you know, I'm rattling, and the bear bit off my head, and then I could still rattle. And I thought, wow, I'm still rattling.
No
and
head.
I have no head. And actually, it was easier to rattle with no head than it had been with a head, because with a head come all of this distracting thoughts, and you know, and so on. So I was better off without a head. So then the bear, it gave me a bear head, and I had a bear head, and I was rattling as Mother Bear. And then I realized that the healing that the bear gave me was that I didn't need a head. I didn't need the face. I didn't need that status. I could still rattle as the bear. I could still continue in the spiritual dimension, which was where my life path was going anyway, and it was a part of me that I had to hide when I was a college professor, because from that perspective, the sorts of practices that I was doing weren't rational, and so I had to hide that part of me. And so without a head, I didn't have anything I had to hide, so I was free.
That's so cool that you got a healing while facilitating.
Exactly.
I can relate to that in my mystery school mentorship program. It's
Yeah.
like I'm going through. It's not the person hosting is doing all the. We're doing it all together, like you said.
Yes, it's a group thing, and that's true for your mentorship activities too.
Yeah. I'm baffled by this, and I wanted to kind of go back and say, one of the things that I love that you've taught me and that you say during each trance is about how we normally, you know, like I'm always sideways on the couch, how that creates a reality, how you hold your body creates your reality.
Right.
And that's what I find so fascinating about this. Instead of it being mushroom or acid or ayahuasca, it's how you're holding your body that, how would you say it prepares you to go into another realm? And then how does that work with so the rattle opens the door, and then you're walking through the door through like the posture?
So the idea is that first we make a sacred space, because we have to step out of this space, out of this reality that we've all structured. I mean, here, you know, the sofa, there's this wall hanging of the owl that my mother made. You know, it's like I've put my study together to be a certain way. And then when I'm in it, you know, I sit up to do my, you know, manuscripts or to do my crocheting or something. You sit in a certain posture.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing the posture trances, we create a new space, a sacred space, where it's the four elements, and then that's the flat, and then we do the third dimension, which is where the spirits are. So the idea is that the spirits permeate our space from, so to speak, to do the metaphor, from another dimension, that they're coming through our space, and we can then be sensitive to them because we're in a different space. But if you're in your ordinary posture, you're asserting the ordinary space in that posture. And we do this in our ordinary life unconsciously, and we teach our kids this. You know, if you want to be alert, you sit up straight. You know, if you want to go to bed, we lay down. And we don't even realize, for example, that that's cultural. It turns out, like in the 1800s, they didn't lay down flat. They thought that was unhealthy.
Oh.
That's why we have the headboards on the beds, because they would fluff up lots of pillows and then they'd sort of lie down kind of in an angle like this, not flat. You know, they didn't lie down flat. They didn't think that was a healthy way. The idea is that we take the posture to assert the space in which we move.
Cool.
And when we're doing the trances, what these other cultures had figured out is that if you hold yourself in a different way in the sacred space, then you've got entrance into another reality. And people who are really sensitive to it, like me, for example, and Dawn, we can go there without the rattle.
And without the bubble, to be honest.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I call the medicine wheel the bubble, because that's what I see psychically. I'm like, oh, cool. We made like it's almost like a an orb shaped bubble that we're riding in together.
We're going out of one and into another. But then if you're already sensitive, if you're have the shaman mentality where you're already sort of psychically attuned, I mean, I don't have to take the posture. I can just visualize the posture.
Oh.
And then through that visualization, I can then enter
Cool.
the space.
Nice.
You know.
Nice. I love that. Well, that's exciting. I'm super excited to talk more about shamanism and about this work. You know, the new era. The new era that I see has. I mean, when you were talking earlier about how efficient it is, right? How efficient it is, how accessible it is to people. I mean, I can go to a trance, get my messages from bear, hawk, fish, and then go to the grocery store and go, and that's kind of what we need in this culture, because
quick.
Yeah,
it's quick.
We all want quick and easy and fast
quick,
shamanism.
It's easy.
Yeah,
and it's not It's not dividing us into tribes, and that's, I guess, the one thing I want to say, because our time is running. The idea is that right now we're at an extreme of tribalism, where we're shutting people out, and we're dividing people into different tribes, into different nations, into different races, into different ethnics, and we need to stop that. We need to all be all together, all humans, all beings together. We have to walk into the new reality, all of us together.
it's like one of the ascended masters said, return like a child. I mean, I see children don't. And they are in the moment. We have to learn to be in the moment, mindful, treat each other with respect.
That's
and
right.
This form of shamanism definitely does that. And it also, that's beautiful. Beautiful. So, Calling Spirits with Posture Trance. I love this book. I just study each one before we do it, and in the book. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful you're in my life, and that you're teaching me all this cool stuff. And it's truly magical. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and thank you.
Thank you.